Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Lorena Creole, bringing you that spice to sci-fi and pop culture analysis, and of course, keeping it real when it comes to theme parks. And it's Friday, weekend is coming, and of course, the Lunch Table Show is here to help you kick off your fandom weekend. And I am so excited about the guest that we have on the Lunch Table show today because I met her on Chrissy Mayer's Simpcast. And she was so much fun to hang out with. I'm so excited she agreed to come on to the show. So, for those who are wondering, yes, I'm doing much better. My antibodies are kicking in, and it's like almost allergies. What allergies? So I've got plenty of antihistamine running in with my system. So, folks, let me bring up my co-host, who I cannot do this show without, and that
Holy
would be
shoot,
Fat
I'm big.
Steven Seagal. Yeah, I know. I had the Chrissy Mayer layout
Oh my god.
in my with that.
Stop, that's giving me vertigo.
I'm like,
No,
okay,
no,
okay,
hey, you know
we're
I
good.
can change things on the screen, and if, you know how fast. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I have the ejector seat button.
Oh, you have the. I have the ejector seat. I have the. I have the
I
ejector.
do. I
It does.
do.
Yeah, I know. It must really suck when you see stuff like this and you're going to eject it.
Anyway, like I was saying, not doing.
Wow, Momo, I'm gonna screen cap that and send it to you.
It's okay. It's okay. How you
Yeah.
doing, dude?
I'm actually doing a lot better. I'm getting back on the road I need to be on, and it's
Good.
Friday. It's another week ending as the years go by quicker. You know, different week, same BS, same not BS. It's a good thing. I'm so happy I get to be the guest today. I know I've never been on Chrissy Mayer's, but one day I'll get that transition into Pikachu, and then I'll get an invite on because I'm not going anywhere with this conversation because it's really uncomfortable. It makes no sense.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll put in a good word for
Oh
you.
yes, tell her if she needs a butler to bring drinks during the
Your
show, so my hand
transition
shows. Yeah,
character.
yeah. That's right. I am
Well,
excited though. Well, I got one thing though.
good.
The season 3 of Rise of the Shield Hero is now coming out, but they're doing one episode a week, and that I can't wait for. I really can't.
And I like that
Yeah.
because Rising of the Shield Hero, which I still have to finish actually, um, because I'm finishing up Death Note. I'm going back and I'm finishing up all the animes. I've kind of been halfway through, so that's
Mhm.
the next one after I finish up Death Note. But Rising of the Shield Hero, I love that one.
Yeah, and I'm waiting for I think the newer season of Sword Art Online to come out.
Hmm.
And terrified when Netflix drops the Bioshock, which will probably be Bioflop or whatever you want to call it, the deck in the game.
Uh, I don't have much faith in that
I
at
hope.
all.
No, I think honestly they should hire Will Smith and Netflix to just slap anything that doesn't look good out of the library, and you would have a whole new occupation force right there.
Ah, true,
I went 5 minutes
true.
without a Will Smith joke. Go me.
Yeah, he's kind of like almost old news. That's kind of how our news cycle goes. But what definitely isn't old news is there are 29 of you folks in here watching so far. Thank you so very much, both between here and also over on Twitch. So I totally do appreciate that. And without further ado, we are going to bring up my guest, and I see you all there in the chat. I see you. I see ya. We have with us the fun, the amazing, the hilarious, and oh so cute Melonie Mac. How are you, my dear?
Yay! I'm doing great. How are you?
Ah, doing lovely, doing absolutely lovely. And I'm just looking at the mannequin in the background there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's got nice legs.
Lara Croft, the one and only.
Hmm.
That's an old school
I wish
game.
you could get like her face in the shot though. It's just like the way it's cut off. But hey, we get to see Lara Croft legs. It's a good day.
Yeah,
You,
yeah.
well,
Goals.
you have your camera mounted on, like on the back, or is it on the monitor?
I have it on a tripod.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Okay.
Don't worry,
Okay.
you got just under the head too, so it's all right. Because then if people like to stare off in the distance and they can see every. Sorry, I'm being a toxic male.
Nah. Well, you know what? Lara Croft, I'm telling you, Tomb Raider is such an old school game. I mean, back when I had more time
Mm-hmm.
than I had money, that was a joke. Um, that was like one of my favorite games to play. I mean, no kidding. It's just like when those games
Yeah.
would come out, it's like Tomb Raider is just like one of those classic, you know, games. I even saw the Angelina Jolie movie just because
Mm-hmm.
I just had to watch that because I freaking love Lara Croft, but kind of
Yeah.
dropped off. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I really liked the first one, but Cradle of Life just wasn't
Ugh.
That
nearly as good.
didn't it?
It
Ugh.
did. It really did.
Shadow
I
monkeys.
I will say though, the most redeeming parts about, I mean, those movies in general, even the first one wasn't perfect, but Angelina Jolie just captured Lara's personality so
Mhm.
excellently, and I love to see that. I feel like, you know, with what we've had with Lara Croft lately,
Mhm.
especially, we haven't truly seen Lara Croft's personality, her look, any of that in so long. And so whenever I recently rewatched the first Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie, I was like, man, I missed Lara so much, and I just, it refreshed my memory of just how perfectly she portrayed Lara's personality, especially.
Yeah, it was
So,
just like you got to see, her
mhm.
brought to life out of the video game. So the
Yeah.
first movie, I freaking loved. That
Yep.
second one, I said, "What the frick were y'all thinking?"
Yeah. Yeah, it's no wonder they didn't get to do the third one that they were planning.
Mhm. It's just like, no, just
Yeah.
hang it up. Just absolutely hang it up. Oh, well, folks, we're going to start with our usual starter question that we ask all of our guests. So, Melanie, what are your memories of lunchtime at school?
Oh, that's a funny question because I was homeschooled until
Oh.
college. So yeah, my lunchtime at school involved me and my brothers in the kitchen, usually making ramen noodles.
I got a
Trigger word,
ramen
trigger
noodle
word, trigger
story
word,
to
trigger word,
oh,
trigger word, trigger
oh.
word.
We'll let her tell the story first.
Yeah, we would just like in between, like mom would, she me and my older brother, we were just doing the same grade and all that, and then we had our younger brother who did who was his own thing. But lunchtime was fun because we could take a break from studying all that kind of stuff and just congregate in the kitchen, make our ramen noodles or whatever it was that we were eating, and just hang out, chat.
Mhm.
They still are my best friends, my brothers are, so it was great times.
Oh, how many brothers do you have?
I have two brothers, one older, one younger, but we're all within like 3 years of each other, all three of us. So yeah, my mom, she got busy.
That sounds like my sister. She has
Yep.
I think my oldest niece, she just turned 9, and then she's
Mm-hmm.
got a pair of 6-year-old twins.
Oh, oh, that's cute.
Oh yeah, they're cute until they all come to your house for Christmas and
Then you got
crash
your hands full.
crash your house for 2 weeks, and I'm telling you, it's like how to put it? It's just like a
Nightmare
cloud
on
of
Elm Street.
noise that just moves all over the
Right.
place.
Just a cloud of noise.
It's interesting
Like a
chaos that goes
hurricane.
just goes everywhere because it's so much activity. Because when you can, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like when you're that close in age,
Yeah.
it's like they're your best friends, so you're always
Oh
getting into
yeah.
stuff and doing stuff,
Yep.
together.
That's true.
So for you, pizza, was it square or round? I know it's a little challenging. Don't worry if you do have
round
to.
round pizza. Square pizza is still good. I mean, any pizza is good, but round pizza ideal.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you're so lucky. See, Patsy was like, "Yeah, finally another one for
Yeah,
the
I'm at
round
8 over a
piece."
year. You're at 900. Let's not go into those ratios. I feel like a bad post on Twitter.
So our the square pizzas usually win then?
Most of the time, but
They
I'm
usually
also
do.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm mostly in
Mhm.
Canada, and Canada was kind of different depending on the province, I guess. And we had like hamburger day or pizza days. So what they would do is they would send you home with a form. They would you would fill out how many slices you want, what drink you want, and then they'd give the money. You bring it back to the teacher, and on
Mhm.
that day, they would bring in from like a local shop, and it was
Mhm.
most of the time Triangle Pizza or
Mm.
McDonald's orange drink or weird
Oh.
Okay.
juice that you just try to not talk to a therapist about. Um,
But if you were like, say, in, a school where you went and got lunch at school, usually they would make the square pizza because, they had the square pans left over and
Right.
stuff, so they go and make it. So while it was okay, not really, eh,
Yeah.
eh. But that's usually what we what we would wind up getting is like that square pizza where it's just like it's imposter pizza.
Right.
It
do
really, really
you mind if
is.
I ask a question quickly, Mel? Is that okay?
Go for it.
I made it sound like a trap question. That wasn't the intention. It's like he's gonna ask me something weird. But no. You're a big fan of the Tomb Raider. What did you think of the new iterations of the games that came out? Let's say when we got from
Mm.
the classic, as well as like even like the Temple of Osiris, which was the top-down kind of more of a co-op experience.
Mhm. Well, with the rebooted trilogy, I think they're great games, but I don't consider them Tomb Raider games, and
No.
definitely not Lara Croft. I think that Temple of Osiris and Guardian of Light, those are fun games as well. Clearly, like spin-offs, so they aren't meant to be actual Tomb Raider experiences, but they're fun to play with friends or whatever. But not
Mhm.
exactly my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of, for me, the concept of Lara Croft and stuff is that her character was created as such a loner. Um, and so seeing her with buddies and all the time,
Yeah.
it kind of like it just feels a little weird. And I think too that ever since Crystal Dynamics did get a hold of the franchise, from Legend onward, I don't think they truly have a grasp on Lara's personality, and so I don't think
Mm.
they've ever really captured it how I would have liked to see it.
And I agree. It kind of feels like an Ellen Ripley with the Tomb Raider name in a way because it's more action than actual problem solving in certain games.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. I mean, there's just so much I can unpack about that when it comes to gameplay. And then, of course, with Lara's design and her personality, the change in her backstories and all that stuff. It's just a different thing. It's a different thing that has the same name. Still good, but it's not Tomb Raider.
Now, the second question. This is a different property.
Okay.
Are you a Dead Space fan? And if so, which one?
I mean, I've dabbled in Dead Space, but I wouldn't really call myself a Dead Space fan.
All right,
No.
I'm out. I quit. I'm gone. I'm leaving. I'm canceling myself. It's all good. That's a good answer. I appreciate that because it's been a very different thing when it comes to the Tomb Raider stuff because a lot of people remember seeing just the booty shorts, the double pistols, fighting bears in caves, solving puzzles, and all that type of stuff. Then we get the new one, and it feels more like it's we're watching a CW Tomb Raider sometimes.
Right. Yeah. I think CW Tomb Raider is a great descriptor.
CW.
Especially since they now focus so much on dramatics and giving Lara Croft such a dramatic backstory, making her
Mhm.
personality just very over dramatic, and that's not what
Right.
Lara Croft was originally created to be. And you especially see a lot of that in the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies. Is that the thing about Lara is she always kept her cool. It was, you really couldn't shake her, and she had like an overconfidence to her that got her in trouble and stuff. But you couldn't really get her shook up, and she was kind of like almost psychotic in a way. And I love that about her. I mean, yeah, and so it's a huge difference. I mean, they're not the same person
Her
essentially.
strength was her intelligence and the amount of what she's done for studying and stuff. So that's what actually created that craziness because she had a lot of faith in what she knew and she applied it in everything.
Well,
She's like a
she was
Jedi in her own
also
way.
she was reckless too. She was
Yeah.
very reckless, just a very like rebellious, reckless, anti-hero type character,
Mhm.
selfishly motivated. I mean, she just had this insane passion for adventure and thrill.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
yeah, like if
Mhm.
she's about to die, like she's in a dangerous life or death situation, that is her element and she is happy.
The way I see the way, especially Angelina Jolie's interpretation, it feels like she took her character of Kate from Hackers and applied that type of personality from Hackers into the Laura Croft at the same time.
I haven't seen Hackers.
Oh,
Yeah, so I can't
oh,
really comment on that.
Yeah,
great film.
modern. Oh, sorry. I was going to
It's
say,
okay.
yeah, modern. When I saw what they did to Lara Croft character. I
Mhm.
said, I don't know who she is
Yep.
because she's adventurous. You have to have a bit of that dangerous edge in
Mhm.
order to be Lara Croft. That's the games what I'm used to
Yep.
being. You're just like reckless. I got my guns. I know what I'm doing. I could
Mhm.
get killed doing this, but hey, no risk, no reward.
Yeah,
No guts, no glory. And
exactly.
that was the whole attitude of it. That's
Yep.
why I freaking loved that game.
Mhm.
Loved getting into, like, okay, my character's gonna freaking die, but whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna go out swinging. This is gonna be great.
Exactly.
And
Did you
that's I
remind me?
loved that's why I love playing that game. But what they've done with it now, because I've been out of gaming for a while, but now I'm
Right.
starting to get back into it. And
Mhm.
some of the things that I see change with games, I'm like, are you freaking serious? This is what we're doing now?
Yeah,
Yep.
gaming in general is just so different. It's like they seem to prioritize, especially in the West, they seem to prioritize more cinematic experience over everything else. And
Ugh.
Hmm.
so if that's top priority, and the gameplay is there just to get you through the story. Whereas in the past, any type of cinematics that you got were like bonus stuff sprinkled in, but the game actually told the story itself through what you're playing. I mean, with Tomb Raider, for example, it's an adventure. And so you
Hmm.
playing through that adventure is already telling the story. And so when you got the cutscenes, those were, nice little bonuses to have. But
Mhm.
now the games are so focused on the cutscenes are the main part of it, and the story's just going to get you there, or the game's going to get you there to the story, and that's it.
It's
And yeah.
it's become more telltale than experience your own tale.
Right. Yep. Yeah.
Can I show that picture quickly? Because I think
Wow.
we're gonna blow Melanie's mind on what Angelina
Which
looked like. That's her in Hackers.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures. I just haven't watched
Yeah,
Hackers.
I
Yeah.
will stand down this. It's great. I just like promoting
I need to
Angelina in
watch
Hackers.
it. I
You
need to
do.
give it a watch.
okay,
Have you dived into
cool.
Elden Ring at all, or is those not your
Oh
type of
yeah,
game?
I love
Yeah.
Elden Ring. I think what's really refreshing about Elden Ring is that it doesn't hold your hand like a lot of modern games do now, where there's just a million prompts on the screen telling you what to do. And the great thing about Elden Ring is that while it does have the story and all that, it doesn't just flood you with cutscenes all the time.
Hmm.
And
Just
the game,
deaths.
yeah, just a lot of deaths, yeah. But it's a game. It actually feels like a game. It's like, oh, this is great. I'm playing an actual video game, and something that
Hmm.
you get your money's worth out of as well. So, okay, I'm not just gonna sit here and watch an interactive story of sorts. I'm gonna actually play a game
Hmm.
that still has a good story in it, but you get to experience it.
Cool. Sorry, I talked a
Exactly.
lot of questions. My
Cool.
bad. I'm sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now it's good when I bring up gaming, because I'm just like, is it just me where I'm trying to get back into it? I'm just like, I don't remember I'm like, where's the game in it? Like people
Right?
complaining that a game is too hard, and I'm like,
I
okay,
That's
know.
no,
journalist.
the objective is if you're not dying a lot, you're
Mhm.
not doing it right.
Yes, it's just gamers. I think a lot of the mainstream is why that's happening, because like back in the day, it was like you were a gamer, man. We wanted the challenge.
Hmm.
We wanted to keep going. We wanted the gratification of
Hmm.
keep trying until you succeed.
Right.
And yeah, and then gaming has tried to incorporate the mainstream a lot more, which is fine, but they're just kind of catering to just the lowest common denominator now.
Oh my
And
god! If they've
yeah.
never been in a Modern Warfare 2 lobby, they have no idea what gaming is. And if you can win at one of those lobbies and just one of those conversations, you're a gamer at this point.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is a lot of
Hmm.
people who are very sensitive about smack talk and things of that nature, and it's like, dude, they have no idea.
No,
They
no idea.
don't. I'll tell
Uh,
you. This is why I'm glad I trained my nephew. Well, let me get this super sticker first.
Mhm.
99 cent super sticker from Punk Nova Trace. Thank you so much, my dear. And up, smiley face with cool shades on. Well, thank you
Aw.
so very much for that support, Punk
it,
Nova
it,
Trace.
the
I
best.
so do appreciate that.
So the best part
Um,
about Modern Warfare 2, though, I don't know if Lorraine of you experienced this, is when you hear a voice that sounds like a Smurf talking
Yeah.
about how bad they treated your mom, and you're sitting there going, "I don't even think you've seen a woman naked at all. Yeah, calm down.
Man, I'm so glad. It's like I would play video games with my nephew, and I'm like, nah, I'm not being easy on you. He's like, no,
Mm-mm.
I'm like, no, you're gonna have to learn this. He's like, Auntie, why are you talking to me so mean? I'm like, if you can't handle smack talk from your auntie, you're not
Mhm.
gonna be able to handle smack talk other places relative. He's like,
Yes,
yeah, Auntie, you're
that's
right.
right. I love it.
I do. I'm so excited and I'm gonna finally get back into it. I'm trying to figure
Mhm.
out which console. Do you have a particular console that you like?
Master Race.
Honestly, I enjoy playing on PC the most, but out of current consoles right now, PS5 is my fave. I love it.
What did you check up on their announcement of how they're making a new PS Plus? Then they totally missed the whole fact of why Xbox Game Pass is successful.
Well, yeah, I have seen that. The one thing though that I do like about it is that it gives me hope that classic Tomb Raider will be a lot more playable because as it
Hmm.
stands right now, the ports are very terrible. Trying to play on PC. So hey, and for some reason, Square Enix will not get those remasters made.
Oh.
So if this is a way to experience classic Tomb Raider again,
Hmm.
sure, they can take my money.
I've been trying to get a PS5. Last time I was interested in getting one, I could not get
Mhm.
my hands on one because I had to
It's
compete
tough.
with like
Mhm.
old farts buying them out.
It's tough. It took me forever. I had one of my friends, he was like, he won a Newegg competition that let you have that let you buy one. It wasn't even like here, win a free PS5. I was like, oh,
Right.
now you have the opportunity to buy one. And he already had one. So he told me, he's like, hey, I got this. I'm like, all right, here, let me send you the money now. And that's how I got mine.
I I want that system
Wow.
because they had a game that released. I think when it first came out, it was called Returnal, and Returnal had an
Oh, it's
update that
great.
they had co-op added to it now, right? So you can
Yeah,
actually
I've
play
been
co-op with
playing
a friend.
co-op. I've been playing
Oh,
co-op with my brother, and it's I feel like the game was made for co-op. It should have been released with co-op.
is it
Hmm.
Soul? It's pretty much Souls with guns, right? Like a Souls like with guns in a way.
I wouldn't say Souls, no. I mean
Hmm.
it is difficult, but I think what sets it apart from Souls is the fact that the way that a lot of the bosses are,
Roguelike.
it's not so much of a just stamina bar, tumble, that type of thing.
Uh-huh.
No.
Instead, you got like all these little things popping up on the screen that you got to dodge. It feels honestly kind of like some old school gaming, even when
Hmm.
you think of like side scrollers where they had like these little projectiles and things that you'd be jumping and trying
Contra.
to dodge.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that has a lot to do with
Hmm.
Returnal. Is the bosses, they'll have a bunch of these projectiles and then they'll still be able to dash at you. And yeah, it's a lot to just try to stay alive. And what I like about it too is it just has that good old dungeon crawler feel where it's like those roguelikes where it's like, okay, you died, start back at level 1.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this because this is actually like the crux of the show. How did you wind up getting started on YouTube anyway?
Yeah. I started YouTube about 13 years ago. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it's
Whoa.
been a long time, but it's
Wow.
funny because back then I was working at a bank. I was a bank teller,
Hmm.
and I just, I've been a gamer my whole life, and I just love video games and stuff. And back then there weren't influencers or anything like that, so I had no idea what I was walking into. But I just started my channel just to kind of talk about video games and stuff. And I thought, oh, hey, this should be fun. And then
Uh-huh.
around that time, like Ubisoft had an all girl group called the Frag Dolls, and they were like taking in interns and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And they would go to different gaming events. They would compete. They would do work with Ubisoft and stuff. And I thought, oh,
Right.
that something like that would be cool. But one of the things that they needed was for you to be good on camera. And so by nature, I can be quite shy. And I thought, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to excel at this unless I get some sort of practice on camera and stuff. So I
Hmm.
started my own YouTube channel to help me out with that. And after doing that, I did get an internship with them and then ended up being an
Oh.
actual frag doll with them for a year. And I loved it. It was great. But then I just kept doing my YouTube stuff.
Mhm.
Then once Twitch streaming started taking off, I started doing that. And yeah, so I've just been in this space for a while. I walked into it and I'm still here. It's great.
Um, can I ask a question since you brought up Twitch?
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it a trap question. Sorry, my chair needs oil and a new life to live. Um, but how has Twitch? Let's say how long have you been on Twitch? First of all, has it been the full 13 years as well, or no?
No, I've been on Twitch for closer to, let's see, probably about 11 years.
And from when you started till now, has the change been beneficial or bad, or has it just been like an up and down roller coaster depending on how things go through?
I mean, it's different. I mean, when I first started, you didn't have monetization options on there, so it's nice that you can do it as a job now because
Mhm.
you couldn't back then, really. But the space has definitely changed a ton, and that's just simply because it's become more competitive. There's a lot more people on there than what there used to
Mm-hmm.
be. But likewise, there are a lot more viewers now who watch this kind of content than what there used to be.
Mhm.
So it kind of goes hand in hand. I feel like for people who are just starting these spaces and streaming or even YouTubing and stuff, it's a lot more difficult now
It is.
to get your foot in the door than it was back when I started. But I mean, when
Mhm.
I started, I was one of the first women to even do gaming content online. So
Oh wow.
I'm like the granny of this. I'm one of the grannies of the space. Um, so yeah, I mean it's different. Also I do feel like right now, honestly, over the past few years, has progressively become a bit more woke.
Oh God.
You used to didn't
Mhm.
have to be so careful about every little word you said. You could just let loose and not worry about things. And I feel like now, especially now, but there's a lot more of like an approved way of thinking, an approved narrative, and there's certain things you can't say now that you used to could say that'll
Like
get you, yeah,
simplicity.
ostracized. Hmm?
But when was it the safety council got constructed, right? And those were we had the one that identified as a deer, and
I
co-carnage, and
remember.
all of that. That was the worst launch party for a safety council I've ever saw. But I love Co. I've been watching Co forever. Co is one of those guys that has like thousands of people watching, but he always
Hmm.
participates to his chat, and Twitch needs more of that. So I think that's where he's going to
Right.
try to get away from the woke and just focusing on making them feel like people, even on YouTube or it will rip Mixer, Facebook gaming, if you want to call it that. You're going to have a better time, and I think your viewers will have a better time because that word of mouth is what makes I think the growth so
Yeah.
special.
Well, I think ultimately just allowing people to just be themselves, allowing people to have
Mhm.
their own opinions and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
some people are going to be woke, some people are not going to be. That's fine. Just allow it all. And obviously within reason, you don't want like people who are, you know, having actual threats of violence against others and stuff. But, for the most part, let things be a lot more free and people will watch what they like and
Mhm.
be able to pick.
It's okay to disagree and move on. You don't have to villainize
Yeah.
someone or outcast them, and that's the biggest problem. You outcasting just because there's a different opinion. And no offense,
Right.
free speech or even freedom of opinion is a lot grander than your hurt feelings, and people are forgetting that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
I agree.
I used to remember just back in the day, people just wanted to have fun. They just
Yes.
wanted to have fun. Yeah, you had, your percentage of a-holes out there, but,
Right.
it's like whatever. People just were allowed to just, be free, have fun, just game, not worry about what kind of agendas are out there or something
Mhm.
like that. Like case in point, I had downloaded this one game, right?
Right.
It was like a historical thing, like conquistador game. I'm like, "Oh, this is cool. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get to colonize some people, just see what's going on."
Whoa!
I said, "This is gonna be a freaking great, game. I'm freaking
Yeah.
excited." So I start the game, and the first thing they say is this apology for
Oh
conquistadors coming to
no.
the new world, but you're starting a year before that, so it's gonna be different. I said, "Uninstall."
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Unfreaking install. I'm like, is this what it's what
Right.
I uh
See,
nah. What?
Yeah.
that's where I
That's
give
not
credit.
cool.
That's where I give credit to Phasmophobia. I'll start talking smack about like the sequel trilogy, and that ghost will just come out of nowhere and choke me to death, and I'm out. And I'm like, all right, they don't like Star Wars like me. It has actually been tested. Do you like Kathleen Kennedy? I'm dead. Okay, move on.
Oh wow, that's
Try it out.
hilarious.
Just say, what's your favorite Ryan Johnson film? And see if they'll come after you. And it's weird. They have a very sensitivity to the Star Wars.
They do, and then they run into people, like us, who are just like, yeah, yeah, your mom, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit back and just watch the darn meltdown.
Yep.
Michael Salo, thank you so very much for that 13.99 Canadian super chat. I so do appreciate
That's
that, my
4 cents
dear.
American.
For no, not now,
Sorry,
not
5
now,
cents.
no, no.
Uh,
No, $10.
yes.
Check your exchange rate. Hail
I'm
to the
doing that.
scintillating sweetheart of YouTube, Melonie Mac, the always awesome Lorena Creole, and to my fellow Canadian fat Steven Seagal. Also, pineapple on pizza for the win.
Get the hell out of here.
I disagree.
I like pineapple on pizza. I
Well, you're the guest, so
Oh,
that's fine. You're gonna say I don't like the texture. I don't
nah.
like the texture.
I,
It's
I,
nasty.
I can't. I can't. It's just
do. Yeah.
for me. Maybe I'm just a purist about pineapple. The only thing I want pineapple to touch is a grill. That's cool.
The grill
Oh,
But
can.
like a pineapple on a burger. Oh, that's so good.
okay, see, I'm down
So
with
good.
that, especially when
Yeah.
they grill the
But,
pineapple ring and put. I
And
can
put
do
like
that.
some barbecue sauce on it.
Oh
Ooh,
heck
like
but
yeah,
some like sweet barbecue sauce.
yeah,
Man,
I
that's
can
some
deal
good
with
stuff.
that. But pizza,
Hmm.
I can't do it. I just can't. Well, I will say this: I will eat pineapple on a pizza before I will eat anchovies on a pizza. I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah, that's I agree with you on that for
come
sure.
on, it's not fair. Come on, I like that.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's see. There are actually two questions from Melanie that I wanted to get to that some people in the chat had done. Soul Assassin, I saw that, and Justin, I see your question too. Soul Assassin says thoughts on the Uncharted series.
Okay, here's my opinions on Uncharted. Now, I feel like Uncharted is partially responsible for the downfall of Tomb Raider because, well, it's funny because first Uncharted was obviously inspired by Tomb Raider, and then Tomb Raider decided to be inspired by Uncharted and try to do Uncharted, and Uncharted does it better. So it's just
Oh,
yeah, so that's just kind of how I feel about it. But I do
mhm,
think that when Uncharted first dropped, it was like, oh, this is fun. This is something kind of new with gaming. Was how well they did the story and the cinematics um
right.
and especially even just like the animation, the character animations for the cinematics and stuff was just very mind blowing for its time, especially when it first came out. And that was neat, but I think after some time, it did start to lose some of its appeal for me.
Hmm.
Like when I played a Thief's End last, I was like, I'm kind of bored of this. I'm kind of bored of the characters constantly bantering. What I don't like is that they feel like there always has to be talking constantly. And when I think of a game like Tomb Raider or Uncharted or something,
Hmm.
exploration just should be such a pivotal focus. And
Hmm.
so I don't want to hear yammering all the time when I'm trying to explore this tomb. It's like I want to feel the ambience. I want to hear like the bugs, the birds, all that. I want to just feel
Hmm.
immersed in it. And it's so hard when it's just like characters talking and bantering nonstop. That gets on my nerves so bad. And Tomb Raider adopted that. That's why they started giving Lara like a companion to go on adventures with and stuff. And yeah, I ain't about it, but yeah, I mean, I think Uncharted are great games, but I do think that that kind of stuff needs dialed back on for sure.
Okay, cool. And let's see. Thank you, Kaylee, for letting me know that there is a members chat, I think from Lonnie, and I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much, Lonnie. You've been a member for 6 months. Appreciate that. Pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza straight out of Boise.
Oh, I haven't tried pineapple and Canadian bacon pizza. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Blasphemy.
I don't want it on my pizza, but I'll
I
try
would
it
try it.
still. Oh, thanks so much, Lottie, for being a channel member. I sure do appreciate that, my dear. Let's see. Justin has a question. Says a question for Melanie. What were some of the channels or videos that influenced you to start your own channel? Mine was AVGN.
Angry video game nerd.
Oh
Oh.
man, when I first started YouTube, I don't even remember like I said, there wasn't really any influencers or anything. When you hopped on YouTube, it was like Vine back in the day where it was just so random. People would just upload the most random things. People didn't really have, at least I didn't see any back then 13 years ago, where they had like their show, you know? YouTube wasn't treated like a
Hmm.
show where you have your
Right.
episodes and stuff like it is now. It was just a bunch of random stuff that you never knew what you
Hmm.
were going to
Like
see.
TikTok.
Yeah, and so I do remember like a couple of vlogger type channels and stuff, the leave Britney alone stuff that was like
Leave
trending and
Britney
God.
stuff. Yeah,
alone! Leave
and
her
so
alone!
yeah, so
He
there was
shows
a
her
little bit
head
of that.
only once. Oh my God. Here, hold my baby.
Right, so there was some of that. But yeah, I didn't really have inspiration from a channel per se because they were so random.
Hmm.
But I took inspiration from like Jessica Chobot from IGN because at the time I thought, oh, that'd be like a fun type of job to do.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah.
You
That is
never wanted to
so
work
cool.
at G4 TV? Sorry, that's a bad joke. I shouldn't even make that one right now.
Oh Lord. You know what's cracking me up is I did a YouTube search like on my name, just looking
Right.
for stuff, and this came up a self prompt, the autocomplete Lorena Creole YouTube Frosk.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That is funny.
I love bringing that up because monthly, Chris Gore, who used to be on G4 back in the
Hmm.
day when it was cool and it was
Yep.
fun watching, you know, that cracks him up. Sometimes he's on my channel once a month too.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Oh, Kaylee, wonderful Kaylee has a question. Reina Creole, question from Melanie. Which is your current favorite game?
Current. So I guess if you mean like modern right now, I would definitely say Elden Ring. It's
So
so
many
good.
people talk about that
It is
about
so good.
that game.
It's just incredible, and you know what I really like about it is the exploration factor and just how great the open world is in it. Um, with just random stuff that you stumble on and things that they don't hold your hand. There aren't markers on there to tell you where to go. You're
Hmm.
just exploring and doing your own thing. You can go do like the main story bosses and stuff and have a hard time and want to cry. Or you can just, oh, look at this. Here's something random I found. Let me explore this catacomb for a bit. And yeah, it's a good time.
And
I would
that's
like to
what I
say,
remember from like games that I used to like back in the day. You would just go and just explore ish. You
Yes.
died, guess what? You learned don't go there.
Yes.
I got two quick things to say about Elden Ring. Screw those goblins. I hate those goblins.
I
Those ones,
hate the
the
goblins.
goblins can suck it, and the sorcerers who never stop spamming spells when you're trying to roll away with the weird statue heads. Yes.
It's too darn funny. Daryl the Derelict, thank you so much for that $5 super chat, my dear. And also, thank you. There's over 50 of you folks in here watching between YouTube and Twitch. Got my special guest, Melonie Mac, here with us. I'm so glad she is here. He says, hi, everybody. What would you tell someone who wants to be a gamer but is old and a closet alcoholic and has no talent?
Get good.
Luckily for you, most games don't require you to be good these
No.
days. So you just pick one and you're good to go. As long as you don't pick Elden Ring. But yeah, I mean, pretty much anything these days, most anything, is very accessible to anyone. So you got this.
I'm laughing. I'm just like, that sounds like one of my uncles, actually. You can't tell him anything.
Yep.
It's like, come over here, let's play this game. Oh my gosh. Ghost of Tsushima. I saw that.
That's a fun
That
game.
there was so much hype about that game.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Let's
Sorry, I like the tree. I'm just
see.
scared.
And I am so glad y'all brought this up, Cavatinho
Yeah.
Cavalrymanche, because I was gonna get to this.
Yes.
Question from Melonie Mac. Does she watch anime? If so, what is she currently watching?
Yes, I do, and I love it. I'm currently in the middle of Demon Slayer season 2, which I know we were planning on talking about that. And I heard you mention earlier that you're watching Death Note. That's my all-time favorite. So that made me
Death
excited.
because I have a monthly anime stream on my channel.
Uh-huh.
And we did Death Note, I want to say 2 months ago. It was
Right.
recommended, and we watched it. And I was like hooked from the beginning.
Yes.
I'm like, this is crazy. And I only got to see, I think, up to episode 20. And then I
Uh-huh.
dropped it for a while. So now I'm coming back to it and watching it. I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, I can't believe how
It's
flipping
my
good this
favorite.
is. It was amazing because I got into
Mhm.
that after I got into Demon Slayer. So what do you
Yes.
think of season 2 so far?
I think it's great so far. Now I just started the arc where the dude with the 3 wives.
Oh, Lord Tengen.
Yeah, I just started that arc, so I just I finished the train arc, and so I'm just starting this one. But that whole train arc was mind
The
blowing.
Mugen Train.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. How did you saw the movie?
No, I haven't watched the movie. I probably should before I continue the
Yeah,
rest of this arc. Though I hear.
I think they did that if you didn't watch the movie. So
Okay.
for the first couple of episodes, I didn't really watch for season 2 because
Right.
they were basically recounting what happened
Yep.
on Mugen Train, and Mugen Train broke me.
It did me too. That hurt.
It hurt so
It did.
bad that every
It did.
time they did flashbacks in
Yep.
season 2, I would just like, I'm gonna start crying. I'm so freaking mad at y'all.
Yep. That's the thing about that some people don't realize with anime is they're just like, oh, this is just cartoons, and they just kind of write it off. But man, there is no form of media that has just made me feel so many emotions like anime does. Nothing. It's just, and that's the thing too, is with there being so many different types of genres and stuff. It's funny because I actually got a question on a recent Q&A thing I did on Instagram where someone
Mhm.
was like, hey, any suggestions for someone who wanted to get into anime? I've never dabbled in that genre. And I'm like, anime has so many genres. It's not just one thing, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, if you need a good cry, there are some sad stuff,
There's
good action, you
Mhm.
got some scary stuff, you got some romance, you got everything you need
You got
with
cooking
anime.
ones with Food
Yes.
Wars because I love that one.
You
You like historical, figures, or maybe not historical, but like classic literature. They've got like
Mhm.
Moriarty the Patriot. If you like superheroes, and I have to say this, anime treats it better than Marvel. My
Oh yeah,
Hero Academia.
I agree.
Mhm.
Exactly.
you have also romances, and so also like magic. If you want to go from Sailor Moon, the original English dubs from Deke, you have things like Clannad After Story, Trigun,
Mhm.
the Guyver, Ninja Scroll, Patlabor. You can even go into things like Gun X Sword, and if you're like the high school romances like Kimi ni Todoke, there's everything. There's literally
Oh
everything.
yeah.
If you
Yeah.
want to watch butt wars, there's even butt wars where they're just fighting with their butts, and I'm not joking. This is an actual
Yeah,
show.
isn't that like the swimming or
Yeah, the
the
bikini war,
Yeah,
bikini battle you're
I
talking about?
remember
Yeah.
that.
It's just something else how
Guilty Crown.
anime makes you just the way that they treat the characters
Mhm.
with such care and build the characters up,
Oh yeah.
like with Death Note. Okay, the fact that I would hate Light as much as I would,
Right?
I'm
You know
just
what?
like, ooh, I can't believe he
But
did that, and you get that emotionally invested
yep.
because it's written
What
so well.
What's so funny though is the first time I watched it, this is kind of a guilty pleasure thing, but I was like kind of rooting for Light low key, even though I knew he was bad. I don't know, and I was a lot younger when I first watched it too. I don't know if that was the bad boy appeal for when you're young, but I was like, okay. Now, but when I watched it last, I was like, dude, this guy sucks.
He's like Dexter. I don't know if you've ever seen that series. That's the first thing that I thought
Yeah.
about. It's just like we shouldn't be rooting for a serial
Well, and I
killer.
think one of the things about Death Note is some people like to think that the Death Note corrupted an originally good person, essentially. And while it did to a degree, I think he had it in him all along, and
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
really what that really showed. And honestly, it I I think it really dived into some even elements of narcissism or sociopathy,
Oh
and
yeah.
Well, it did
yeah,
though. But it
it
did though
really did. Yeah.
because before he had the book, he was not that thing. But as he started taking it on himself to protect everyone, that developed an ego, and with that ego developed narcissism because he is the only one who can do this. He's the only one that can do this. And then on top of this, he had to not be caught, and then that narcissism of how much he wants to keep that power for himself and judgment, and then he became his own worst enemy and his own. It's I can't even get into it
Right, but
with my head trying
he
to explain that
liked the
power.
attention from it as well, the
Mhm.
power and the attention
Yeah,
with the Kira name and all that. But I think that I think with that though is that he did have it in him all along. It just took that to bring it out.
yeah.
Right.
You look at like his upbringing and stuff like that. He was more kind of like that coddled, like, but in that like almost like perfect in a way. And yeah, I do think it was in him all along, but it just this is what brought it out.
That's what triggered it. The fact that, the first episode where he's listening, there's all the crime statistics and
Yep.
his dad's a cop, and it just seems like there's nothing that can be done. And it seems like the guilty just keep getting away with everything. And then he
Yep.
comes into this power where I can finally
Mhm.
set things right and I can be judge, jury, and executioner. It just when
Yeah.
you see him descend into that, it's just like, man.
Well, and the way that he treats other characters, even when you look at someone like Misa, for example,
Yes.
they were just pawns in his games. He used people for his own benefit, and he had no qualms about it, even his own dad. And so
Mhm.
um, I feel like that he had to have some sort of inherent form of narcissism to begin with to even be capable of that.
Right.
Uh, because it's one thing to have kind of a god complex when you have something that gives you that kind of power, but to be able to treat people in your life, your own dad or Misa, who clearly was like loved him, as objects, uh,
Mhm.
just to further his own agenda. That's cold.
Yeah, Ram Bam 3000. It sounds like the Death Note is like the ring. It brings out all of your worst traits until they consume you. Yeah, I'm forgetting the ladies. Oh my gosh, the one who was the TV anchor. Who was the TV anchor?
Oh,
He
what was
brought
her
her into his. He pretty much
yeah.
seduced her. And what happened to her? He's
Yes.
already written her death down for to kill
That
herself
was
and
what
burn the place down.
that was a shocking moment when that
I
happened.
did
It was
not
like,
expect that to happen. I think I was staring at the screen for like 5 minutes
yeah.
after that happened.
But here's the thing though is I do have to say is I wouldn't personally liken the Death Note to the ring, the One Ring, because
Mhm,
the I think, like I said, the Death Note kind of brought the worst out in him. But you look at
mhm,
someone else who had a Death Note, Misa, it didn't corrupt her. And so I think that in order for something like the Death Note to corrupt a person, they have to be capable of it in the first place to some degree. So it just brought it out of him but it was already dormant in there.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, someone like Misa was able to handle the Death Note and didn't have the same effect as like the Ring of Power would have on anybody. So I personally, that's how I interpret it. Now when I first watched, I did have that vibe though. I thought, oh, is the Death Note. And I realized later, I was like, I think I was giving too many excuses to Light Yagami there. uh because that already brought out what he was capable of the whole time.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. We got another question for Melanie from Zakarat315. Thank you so much, my dear. Melonie Mac, what game you have beaten on the highest difficulty?
Oh man, I mean, pretty much a ton of games from back in the day. Like almost like most of your standard action adventure type titles I would play on the hard difficulty mode. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of them these days. Usually, if I'm streaming, I'll play on normal just because I don't want
Rage.
my chat to. Well, I don't mind raging. It's just my chat will get more bored if I'm not progressing enough. But usually, I
Mhm.
mean, it's been pretty standard, and except for games that have exceptionally. There's a difference between like an action adventure game having a hard mode versus a game having a nightmare mode that's made just specifically for the super fans that you
Mhm.
like. That is just unreal. But yeah, those standards, just easy, medium, hard, that I usually like playing hard. um
Right.
but those ones that have like that nightmare mode type stuff, usually I'll just not so much unless I'm just super 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 obsessed with the game.
I
Mhm.
know. I did have a question because actually it kind of relates to someone in the chat. How are you feeling about the whole desexualization of like women and even the demasculating of men in video games, and they're turning to
Mhm.
these bland boards of wood lately?
I think it's boring, and I think that whenever you do that, you're running into forgettable characters and stuff. And so when you think of some of the most iconic characters that we've had in gaming,
Mhm.
they're kind of old school because they didn't have limitations on that. They were able to make them these like fantastical looking characters in a way. So you had like Lara Croft, who was that very curvy bombshell look, and then you had
Mhm.
like obviously male characters as well who are just ridiculously buff that in no way in real life would be attainable. But it made it fun. It was like you're vicariously living through these characters who just go above and beyond what reality is. And I don't think that every game needs that. I don't think every game has to have sexy characters,
Right.
but I think that this push to eliminate them from games altogether is unfortunate because uh, that was part of the fun, is playing as these idealized characters, and that's part of the
Mhm.
power fantasy, is being super sexy. It's
Mhm.
just, yeah,
Exactly. Part of the reason I said, who didn't want to play Lara Croft who was hot looking?
Well,
yes,
That's one of the reasons why I like to watch it. Even the video games, which I always joke about, like the sand volleyball games.
dead or alive.
oh yeah, do you want yeah,
Well, that's
You
that's
had
like
like
playing.
the scantily clad, women. I said that's
That's
what you
good.
even like the superhero games, all of
right,
that you wanted to look sexy. Even the
yeah,
Street Fighter, even, Chun-Li, granted, she's kind of, covered up and everything, but
right,
she's still
but
hot, she's
she
still sexy. Mortal Kombat,
yep,
all of those. I love those sexy
Well,
characters.
picture playing Bayonetta and you just look like this very dull soccer
right.
mom trying to fight these giant gods. You're just sitting there
Who
going, I'm going to go
the
back to
heck
Tetris. I'm
wants
done. I'm
to
out.
waste their
Yeah,
time playing like that?
I agree, and I think it's just it's just it doesn't and this isn't even like just only about women. It's about male characters too. Everybody just likes to play as these idealized, attractive, sexy characters. Guy or a girl character doesn't matter. It's just more fun to play as a hot character than it is to play as one that is just normal.
Right. Right. And to kind of follow up on that, hello, Dreaming Tabitha. Good to see you, my dear. She says, does Melody have a guilty pleasure video game?
Let me think. I I don't know. Like I feel like I guess my most guilty pleasure video game would be something like Life is Strange, because normally I don't like games that are only narrative based. And so that
Hmm.
goes against, but I'm not necessarily guilty about it. It's like, okay, yeah, I like this. This goes against what I normally play. But yeah, I guess that's one of those things. Is like that, the little drama and the social element of it is kind of fun. Yeah.
Well, let's see. We have one last question before we wrap up here, and I'm going to give it to my amazing, amazing mod, Kaylee D. Thank you so much, my dear mod, for me both here and over on Twitch. Says Lorena Creole, another question from Melanie, and I like this question. What advice would you give for new streamers on Twitch and YouTube?
All right. My advice I would give is to first and foremost just prioritize having fun with it and don't put all these crazy expectations on yourself because right now, I mean, this space is extremely competitive. And what I see all the time is a lot of people ask me questions like, "Hey, I was thinking about getting started in streaming as a side gig to make some money." And that's like their initial thought with it. And I'm
Really?
like, dude, you don't realize you would. When you don't have any history of doing this and you don't already have a following and stuff, in order for you to make anything remotely near what you would even make it at McDonald's, you'd have to be grinding like crazy.
In a
So
hot tub.
for real, it's like don't look into it in that kind of way. Just look
Mm-hmm.
into it is for fun and enjoy yourself. And if you do build up a following and it becomes something that you can do as a career after that, then yeah, then you can worry about analytics, you can worry about topics, you can worry about what you're going to play, this, that, and the other. And that's a whole other monster that you got to stress out about when it becomes your job. So
Mm-hmm.
until that is even on the table remotely at any capacity, don't even stress yourself out. Just have fun.
That is some really, really excellent advice because some people ask me, they were like, "Well, how did you, get into YouTube?" And I'm like, "I got peer pressured into doing YouTube. I didn't feel like doing a channel. Like, why? Who's gonna be
Yeah.
interested in, in anything that I have to say?" And then eventually, hey, started getting on YouTube.
Hmm.
Then thanks to some great networking and people who helped me out along the way, next thing I knew, I found up monetized in like 6 months. I'm
Yep.
like, okay, this is interesting. And
Yeah.
then started seeing exactly how much YouTube was paying. I'm just like, are
Right.
you for real with this? How on earth, but it's if you love doing it, then
Exactly.
it's fun and it's not, and it's not and it's not like, it's not a job. And then, like my niece, who's 10, she's like, I want to do YouTube. I'm like, you're only 10, go play. Go play. They come here to visit me. She hugs me. And then her second question is, where's the studio at?
Yeah. That's cute. Oh.
Oh my goodness. But that's such great advice because some people will get so caught up in, I
Oh
want
yeah.
so and so many followers and I just want to get rich
Yeah.
off of streaming, and that's
It's
not
like, good luck with
exactly.
that.
Yeah, good luck with that. But if it's something that you love, that you love to do, you have fun doing it, like Melanie, obviously you do. That's why I
Oh,
loved
I
it when
love
we
it.
were on Simcast. You were just so funny.
Oh, thank you. That was so fun.
Just so that was so my gosh, that was so much freaking fun on
It
Simcast.
was.
Hopefully we can get to do it again. Yeah, Soul Assassin, you were one of those. Yeah. You're like, ready to start a channel. You start the channel yet? Start the channel yet? I'm like, I'm just in a chat. Will you leave me alone?
You're like, I feel like being on YouTube and stuff that you were made for this though. You've got just the perfect personality and like this is just to me I feel like you're in your element on
Oh, well,
YouTube.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's still kind of weird looking at myself
Yeah.
on
Like,
YouTube. I'm like, that's
You're a
kind of
natural.
weird. Well, thank you.
You are. If you see some of my older stuff, it took me so many years just to feel comfortable where, okay, I can kind of be myself. It took me so long. But then you got some who are just a natural at it, like you. I just feel like your personality just shines so well.
Oh, thank
can,
you. Oh, go ahead,
yeah,
Cassidy.
I have one question that also comes with streaming, and I think a lot of people forget this thing. As your popularity and your growth like starts going faster and faster, and you start getting out there more and more, have you noticed that when you get negativity thrown your way, does it ever become a deterrent
Mm.
where you have those weeks or days? Has it ever affected like not just mentality, but in your emotional state, sometimes even to your physical state, or do you just push through it? Because I also know you work out and stuff because I
Right.
Twitter feeds and stuff. Has it ever reached the point where not even a workout can fix that? And should people be aware of that if they want to get into streaming full time?
It's a combination of both, and I do think that some people aren't completely cut out for it. You have to be able to take the heat, because it's going to happen. But
Mm-hmm.
it still, I still it's like a twofold thing. There are some days where if I'm already having a bad day and that's
Yep.
just the last thing I needed to see was a hateful comment or something that just pushed me over the edge for the day and I need to unplug. So there are some times I need to do that, but I'm not gonna lie, I can be a little feisty. So sometimes the hate comments will fuel me. I'm like,
No.
yeah. Okay. I offended you.
Let's go beyond comments. Let's say people are trying to get in your personal space. They come after your character. They try to do disruption of things at the same time. What do you do when that turn comes up?
It's a mix of between. It's kind of honestly the same thing because there's sometimes where people will try to character assassinate me and they've gone to such measures to even fabricate things to do so, or make fake tweets and stuff. And it just depends because like when I lose actual friends for stuff, then it's like of people who I thought were my friends, it's like, oh, that sucks and it hurts my feelings. But then on the other hand, if you just have people making stuff up and having a bunch of people talking about you, dude, they're still talking about you at the end of the day. And so then sometimes that can also fuel you as well. It's like, okay, wow, you really had to do this. Oh, great. I'm going to make a video about this. Thanks for the content. Because every single time anybody has ever tried to character assassinate me, I have been in net positive followers from it. So they just do free advertising for you.
But you don't name them, right? You talk about the situation, but you never name them because then it just starts turning to drama channel, right?
Right. Yeah, I don't talk about. I usually don't show the username, but a lot of times it depends because sometimes they usually use like burner accounts. So they're not gonna call you out on main.
Yeah,
they're not gonna do that.
Thing. Yeah,
yeah. So I'll show the burner account. I don't care. But when it comes to actual people in the space who have like been, other streamers or people in the gaming industry who have tried to trash talk me or whatever. No, I never call them out by name ever.
Good. No, that's great advice because a lot of people only focus on how hard it's going to be. Just do what you want to do, have fun. But you got to remember, like, as success comes, you're going to have another thing creeping up behind you. It's like the monster under the bed. So I think that's great advice. Thank you.
And I think that when you look at, like, for example, how Frost handled the G4 situation, that's one example of how not to do it. I mean, we're not all perfect. So there's going to be times where things will get to you, but you got to learn to decompartmentalize it and to handle it accordingly. And if you're going to have moments of weakness, dude, do that off camera, have your moment, eat your ice cream, watch some anime, do what you got to do, cry it out even, but don't let them see that from you. Yeah.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Great advice. That is great advice. Folks, oh my God, time just flies too fast on this darn show. We didn't even get to talk about conspiracy theories.
I know.
We didn't get to talk about, faith and, and all of that. But hopefully one day, if Melonie has room in her schedule, we are definitely going to have to bring her back because I just love talking to her. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun. But folks, you're welcome. You're welcome, my dear. Definitely subscribe to Melonie Mac if you have not. I have her social media links in the description box, so please do check those out. Melonie, do you have anything coming up that you'd like to make folks here aware of?
I think the big thing is just my new YouTube channel I started a little over a month and a half, 2 months ago. That one, Melonie Mac, go boom.
I love this picture.
This one's fun.
I love it.
Yeah, this is where I upload every day, and I just I go boom, man. I go off on topics, and I just am just sharing my honest opinions on stuff. So my social commentary channel, been having a blast with it.
Oh God, it looks like so much fun.
It is
fun. Yeah, I have to watch the Tomb Raider one. That one that's the first one on my list, and I'm gonna
all right
and watch it. Well, thank you for subbing to her awesome one. I sure appreciate that. Soul Assassin, get Melonie on a Florida stream. Oh, yeah, I have this show on Sundays called Welcome to Florida. And we go over some crazy Florida story-ish that's just just nuts.
That sounds amazing.
That's just nuts. So yeah, we're actually, I think our 100th show is probably going to be in a couple of weeks. So we do Florida Man bingo.
Mhm.
I'll just
Oh,
drop you an invite for
nice.
that. Literally, we go through the stories and we all got bingo cards and
I love
stuff.
it.
Like, DUI, golf cart, old lady runs someone over with their cart. I mean,
Wow. All
stuff like
right.
that. Oh man, let's see. Oh, right. Well, this has been an absolute blast, Melanie. Thank you so very much for joining us on the
Thank
show today. It's
you.
an absolute,
Thank you
absolute
for not muting me.
blast.
Thank you.
And folks, so Fat Steven, what do you have going on to let folks know about before we roll
Well, we're
out?
gonna have Chris on that pop culture minefield from Bleeding Fool. Then later tonight, I'm probably gonna yell at 12-year-olds on Fortnite, or go back down the ring and have the goblins yell at me. Either way,
Mhm.
we've passed 5K on YouTube, which is great. Now we're just working on the Twitch side, and
All right.
it's gonna be an interesting couple weeks coming up. But other than that, Melanie, thanks for being on. And honestly,
Thank you.
the advice is fantastic. I hope a lot of people take it not only to mind but to heart
Mhm.
and smarten up.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Well, folks, as for your girl, tomorrow 9 a.m. I'm going to be live streaming from Universal Studios Orlando over at Hogsmeade's. Good morning, Hogwarts. We're just going to have fun, just exploring that part of the wizarding world of Harry Potter, hanging out with me there. And then 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Jackbox game stream, we are doing Quiplash. Lots and lots and lots of Quiplash. So if you are a channel member, you get to hit the game room first. So keep that in mind. Hope you guys go there for that. And of course, welcome to Florida, Sunday, 8 p.m. More crazy stories. Just too much freaking fun. So hopefully you will join us. Yes?
No, keep doing your outro. Give me
Oh, okay. I thought I missed something. I
Oh
thought I missed
no,
something.
that's what they were saying. It's like this is coming up eventually soon. And yeah, we talked this week
Oh my
previously. I'm actually getting the X-Men intro redone. Like previously on X-Men, but it's gonna have previously on Idiocy. There you go. Look, yeah, you got a lot of topics already there. There we go.
The SpongeBob is just what sells it.
That's two SpongeBobs.
It
That's
really
two
does.
SpongeBobs. I edited it together.
I freaking love. Don't give away your secret.
It's two.
Amazing.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this
Thank
edition
you.
of the Lunch Table Show. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching here on YouTube, watching out there on Twitch. Please do hit that like button on YouTube, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye. From the next 6 months, we're not having any guests on that eat square pizza, only circular pizza. If you don't like it, I don't care. I don't actually have any power here. I'm just here to hold the door open. So y'all have a good night. Should put pants on, I think, right? All right, let's do
But
it.
I will judge you if you have pineapple.
You judge me no matter what I do.